being after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, a. According to them, the martyrdom of Imam Hussein created a revolution in the thinking and views of the Shias, as a result of which they organized themselves, and Shiism appeared as a systematic faith. Prior to this, there was no organization among the Shias. Before the great martyrdom of Imam Hussein, the position of Shiism was of a political group, and the particular views of Shiism were not entrenched in the minds of the people and mixed in their blood. When Imam Hussein was martyred, Shiism began to run in the veins of the people and appeared as a straightforward faith, as the American scholar of Iranian descent, Rida Aslan, writes in his book No God But God, published by Random House Paperbacks, New York, on page 178. Put simply, the memory of Karbala was slowly transforming the Shi'ism of Ali from a political faction with the aim of restoring the leadership of the community to the family of the Prophet, into an utterly distinct religious sect in Islam. Shi'ism, a religion founded on the ideal of the righteous believer who, following in the footsteps of the martyrs at Karbala, willingly sacrifices himself in the struggle for justice against oppression. The author of Lawrence of Arabia and Arab scholar, Anthony Nulling, in his book, The Arabs, published by Mentor Books, New York, 1964, under the heading of Shia Revolt and Abbasid Decline, on page 155, writes, "The Shia movement had begun in Arabia at the time of the Prophet's death as a political party dedicated to placing Ali on the caliphate throne. From then until the death of Ali's son, Hussein, it was purely an Arab movement. But as the Umayyads' rigid class structure embittered the Mawali converts to Islam in the Persian East, the Shia saw their opportunity to broaden the base of their movement and to expand their numbers. Thus, the original partisans of Ali grew into an international movement, bent not only on restoring the Alids to the caliphate but also on staging a social revolution on behalf of the oppressed classes everywhere within the empire." 10. Volume 5, pg. 251. 11. The gist of the fiction of Saif ibn Umar is that Abdullah ibn Saba was about a Yemenite Jew who made a show of converting to Islam during the period of Uthman, while in fact he continued to conspire against Islam secretly. He roamed through Islamic centers like Syria, Kufa, Basra and Egypt and spread the propaganda that, like Prophet Jesus, Prophet Muhammad would also return. He also used to claim that every prophet had a successor, and the successor of Muhammad was Ali, and just as Prophet Muhammad was the seal of the prophets, Ali, is the seal of the successors. Also, that as Uthman had oppressed Ali and usurped his right, the people should rise and restore the rights to its owner. Under the influence of this propaganda, some Muslims rebelled and reached Medina, laid siege to Uthman's palace, and finally assassinated him. All this took place under the supervision of Sabanes. And also, that leaders of the two parties in Battle of Camel didn't want hostilities to take place, but the Sabanes concocted such a plot during the night that battle ensued, and it never became clear who had started the battle. Dr. Taha Hussein has denied the existence of Abdullah ibn Saba in his book, Al-Fitnat al-Kubra. The contemporary research scholar, Allama Saeed Murtaza Askari, in his book, Abdullah ibn Saba, has investigated and evaluated the subject thoroughly, but it is a matter of regret that the agents of imperialism and proponents of the restoration of caliphate continue to repeat the same old story of Abdullah ibn Saba. Dr. Israr Ahmad, in his column in the Jang Daily of Karachi dated 12 Rabiul Awwal 1429 writes under the heading Azmat-e Musrafa, Maghrib ka Gusrakana Rawaiya. In this conspiracy, the Jews had the list, and their enmity was because the Holy Prophet was not from Bani Israel, while the Jews believed that prophethood was restricted to Bani Israel. After migration to Medina, the people of Medina removed Abdullah ibn Ubay, who had the support of the Jews, and made the Holy Prophet their leader. This struck like a bolt of lightning on the Jews. From that day, they made the personality of the Holy Prophet as the target of their conspiracies. After his departure, another Jew in the garb of Islam played a very important role in dividing the Islamic community. For the kind information of Dr. Israr Ahmad, it was not the fictional Abdullah ibn Saba who caused harm to Islam, it was the so-called scholars who connived with imperialism to deliver an effective strike on Islam. It is a saying of the Holy Prophet that 3 types of people are disasters for religion: a sinful scholar, an ignorant and foolish worshipper, and an oppressive ruler. The historical fact is that Saif ibn Umar fabricated the fictional figure of Abdullah ibn Saba in the second half of the 2nd century of Hijra, and exactly 120 years after that, it began to be propagated that Abdullah ibn Saba was the founder of Shi'ism. Apart from Saif ibn Umar, no one else has mentioned this baseless story, and in every age, the existence of Abdullah ibn Saba has remained a question mark. May drive. Israr Ahmad, please explain to us why such an influential character of Abdullah ibn Saba, who effectively divided the Ummah and caused chaos and destruction, was not mentioned by any of the earliest historians of Islam. Why have scholars like Ibn Shihab Zuhri, Urwa ibn Zubair, Aban ibn Uthman, Abu Bakr ibn Hazm, Musa ibn Uqba and Waqidi not said anything about such an important figure? These were the same people who compiled history and traditions in the final period of Umayyads. If Abdullah ibn Saba had really existed, the greatest enemy of Imam Ali, Muawiyah and his party men, would have definitely mentioned it, because Muawiyah never missed any opportunity to defame Ali, and his supporters. How did this figure remain concealed from the people till the last period of the 2nd century? Saif ibn Umar was the first writer to present this fictional figure along with his exploits in the second half of the 2nd century. Regarding Saif ibn Umar, all scholars agree that he was a blatant liar, and in order to flatter the Abbasids he concocted many fictional stories. Thus, when he saw that the Alawites were becoming a challenge for Bani Abbas, he devised the imaginary tale of Abdullah ibn Saba to discredit the former. 12. Naj al-Balagha, Sermon No. 7. 13. Fulfilling the bequest of the Messenger of Allah's Imam Ali, observed patience in every oppression, even when the agents of the regime dragged him forcefully from his house and took him to the mosque. Although the Imam was enraged, he remained faithful to the advice of his mentor and didn't pull out the sword, because he was neither weak nor cowardly. Just as the world once more witnessed the exploits of the Dufakar his sword 25 years later in the battles of Jamal, Siffin, and Nahrawan. At that time controlling his anger and sentiments was more difficult than facing Amr ibn Flatwad. Allama Saeed Murtaza Askari, Role of Imams in the Revival of Re-1 Volume 2. 14. Most probably the author was referring to Golzier's book Vorlesungen über den Islam. Its English translation, Introduction to Islamic Theology and Law, by Andras and Ruth Hamori, was published by Princeton University Press, 1981. Note of al-islam.org. 15. Greet Wilders of Holland also, like Golgier, considers Islam to be a warring faith. The Dutch legislator, who cannot differentiate between the general and conditional commands of the Quran, has equated the Quran with Mein Kampf by Hitler. He has also demanded a ban on its publication. He has also produced a film, Fitna, on this subject, in which he wants to portray Islam as a religion that incites violence and undemocratic behavior. This is absolutely false, as it is based on erroneous understanding of Quran. The Holy Quran itself says that it is cure and mercy for human beings. 16. Imam Ali was compelled to pay allegiance to Abu Bakr to remove the evil, because at this time some individuals outside Medina had made false claims to prophethood. For example, Musaylama al-Kazzab, during the last days of the Holy Prophet had claimed prophethood. After the passing away of the Prophet, there had been considerable increase in his notoriety. Ridiculing the Holy Quran, he had also composed some Arabic couplets and declared that there would be a prophet from his tribe and another from the Quraysh. That is why his community and tribe had accepted him as a prophet. Gradually he gained such influence that an army consisting of 40,000 mercenaries gathered around him. They could have launched an attack on Medina any time and destroyed the whole city. If, God forbid, they had succeeded in their dirty plan, they would have first of all martyred Imam Ali, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, and erased even the signs of the blessed grave of the Holy Prophet. At that time not men made false claims of prophethood. Even a woman of Bani Tamim tribe, named Sajah, also claimed that she was a prophet. She had also gathered people around her by taking allegiance from them. In addition to these claimants to